Now, if you think Spotify is going to take away the gems, as a punishment to people who've been gem mining, you got to be losing your mind, because that's the benefit. That's what's keeping people on. That's how they are surpassing Facebook and Clubhouse and essentially leapfrogging them in terms of time on app, which is a metric that's really important for social media platform. People are staying in that app to get the gems.
So today's video, we're going to be talking about the latest audio-only app, Greenroom. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's Jay Ghatt. Welcome back to my channel. So for those of you who are new, you may or may not have seen a video I did a little while ago comparing the audio-only apps Clubhouse to Twitter Spaces, when Twitter Spaces, which is a function audio-only sort of listening podcast functionality of the social media platform Twitter, came out and it rivaled Clubhouse. So I did a comparison, a side by side. Since then, we have more competitors on the scene. Two competitors that we believe may make a play for Clubhouse is Spotify's new app called Greenwood. I'm gonna pull it up here. Greenwood, Green Room, and Facebook. As of this video, Facebook released its press release or announcement that its own form of podcast, audio, community, audience participation app is coming out, and but for purpose of this video, we're only going to compare the Green Room with Clubhouse. First, we're going to talk about the similarities, and then we're going to talk about the differences. The reason why we're going to leave out the Facebook option is because, according to Facebook's own press release, it looks like they are targeting and giving spaces to larger established entities, podcasters, media entities, and giving their ability for the audience to join in with them, which is much different from what Clubhouse, Green Room, and what Twitter Space has going on, where anyone can actually create a room and start an audience, whether or not they have a large established presence audience or not. So that's why we're going to not talk about Facebook and just focus on Green Room. I don't like you saying Greenwood, which is more akin to Clubhouse. So now the similarities between Green Room and then Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse are as follows. But before I get into that, let me first talk to you. If you want to create a Green Room account and follow along, all you have to do is sign up for it and download it from either the Apple Store or from the Google Play Store. Now, it's available on Android and iOS, and you do not need a Spotify account in advance in order to sign up. However, if you do have a Spotify account, you can actually sign up and log in through your Spotify login, and it may be a seamless process for you. Now, for those of us like myself that do not have a Spotify account, I have one for my son, so I'm familiar with it, and I've used the free version years ago. I had to sign up free. When you sign up for an account, it's going to walk you through the process. You have to do a real name, similar to the other ones. We're moving away from the era of social media online connectivity with an anonymity. Now it's all about your real name and tying the voice and the words and the messages to the actual person who's saying those, which is great. So you put your real name, if you like it or not. And then after that, they walk you through the process of identifying different topics that you're interested in. Finally, you put in some other data, verifying data, and voila, you have an account. They'll send you an email to verify your account. Then what they're going to do is automatically have you follow about 15 people who are established folks on the app before, some celebrities. The app, for those of you who don't know, previously for 9 months or so was called Locker Room. It was an audio-only opportunity for sports fans to get together. Sometimes athletes actually joined and talk about their favorite games, the matches, what was going on, tournaments, talk shop, essentially like locker room shop, or just barbershop talk, or just, basement, while in between gaming, talking about the game, that sort of stuff. So that was a community that existed before. Spotify purchased Locker Room, including all its assets. And as of last week, maybe Thursday or Friday, they just decided, okay, we're ready. We're not going to launch it openly. So that's just a walkthrough really quick of how to create a Green Room account so you can follow along with me. Now, let's first talk about the similarities between Green Room and then Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. Okay, so both apps, both, when I say both, I mean Green Room and the new and old apps, let's say it like that, both have an opportunity to have a host. I'll talk a little bit later about the differentiator regarding the number of hosts later on, but they both have a host. Your setup, you'll see, is familiar and similar to the other ones. In addition to the host, you'll have people on stage and you'll have people in the audience. Now, what represents the audience members and the stage members or the whoever it is and the host is that their profile photo that they selected when they sign up appears in the center in little circles. And so that's how you know that's the stage. So the stage and the interface looks the same. The other similarity that you will also notice is that there's a microphone opportunity. So on Clubhouse and both in Green Room as well, you can see the microphone. And so you know when someone's mic is muted or when it's unmuted. Twitter Spaces does not right now allow you to see when someone's mic is muted, and that's kind of like it was an issue. So that's a second similarity. A third similarity besides the stage and the room and the sound is they both have a sort of hallway. Now, Green Room doesn't call their space the hallway, but Clubhouse does. Essentially, that's the space. There's the area of the app where you can go see that where live current sessions are going on. Green Room has one as well. Clubhouse has one. Twitter Spaces just recently released theirs in beta. There's a they called it a tab. So here's the article when they mentioned the tab, and I got early access to the tab, so this is how my tab looks like. But for the most part, they all have a space where you can see actual live rooms that are going on. The next one is there's a calendar. Now, for Green Room, there is a calendar that tells you rooms that are coming up, and for Clubhouse, there's also a calendar to tell you rooms that are coming up, the rooms that are coming up generally. Now, as to your own room, Green Room doesn't allow you to right now to schedule a room. You can just start a room live. With Clubhouse, you can actually schedule a room. So in the options, you see in the calendar, you see events coming up, and then you can toggle down and see the events that are my events that are coming up. So, which is great. Then that's because I can schedule a room in advance, a room that's going to occur later on in the future, whereas Green Room doesn't have that yet. And I'm not sure what's going on with Twitter Spaces on that. So another similarity between all of them is they all have a search function. Now with Twitter Spaces, the search function, it's Twitter already. So if you want to look for someone, you kind of like have to you can search and you'll find the Twitter bio and you can see once you get to their profile if they're hosting spaces. Yeah. But as to Green Room and Clubhouse, you can both search. Now, Green Room's search is not as sophisticated as Clubhouse. Clubhouse, when you search, for example, if I search YouTube in Clubhouse, I will see all the people who mention the word YouTube in their bio. Green Room, the only people that will come up under search YouTube are the ones who have YouTube in their names. And so that's not necessarily functionality. I need to actually know the name of the person in order for them to show up. So if I know someone's name is Ray, I can go and type Ray A, and then all the Ray A's will show up. But I'm not able, if I know Ray A is a broadcaster, I can't go in and type broadcaster and hope I can find Ray A that way because that's not going to work. So I'm looking for Green Room's search functionality to develop and come into space and be more functional, because right now it's not really that functional. So another similarity is they have notification bells. So when you choose to follow someone, for Green Room, it's automatically set to always. So the minute you follow someone, you're automatically set to get all of their notifications. So you'd have to toggle that on. And you know that when you start getting alerts from people that you forgot you followed, like, why am I getting a notification for this person? It's like, oh, it's on always. So you can toggle it back to normal or never. With Clubhouse, on the other hand, when you follow someone, there is no default. I think the default is some of their rooms. So if you want to do it on, you have to manually opt in to get all of their notifications. And so that's why some people say, hey, follow me and switch the notification bell to always on. So that's a differentiator, but nonetheless, you can always follow people. You can report in all of them. You can report someone. And then all of them, you can also ping them in the room. We call it ping in Clubhouse, in that you hit the plus sign in the bottom right corner, and then which will pull up a menu. Once that menu comes up, you can then hit the search bar and search for specific people in a topic area and see who may care about the room you're in, and you hit the button. If there's a green button, solid green button near their name, that means they're in app currently in some other room, so you can ping them from a room that already existed in. So that's the pinging function. In Green Room as well, you can hit the plus sign button, and that's going to bring up all the people that are following you. You can't search by subject, again, like I mentioned. However, you can scroll down, so long you're not following too many people, and just tag in and push a button, and then hit one button, and you invite them all in one fell swoop. So that's how you ping people in both rooms. So they have the both functionality. In both apps, you can also share the room, all of them. You can share the room outside of the app itself and decide, whether you want to share it to Twitter or Facebook, or just get a copy of the room URL and then email it to someone or text it to someone to get someone in the app. And then finally, the last thing is to indicate that someone is speaking. All of them have a glow. So in green spaces, green room, which is dark, you see like a green glowing thing on someone's app to indicate that they're talking. In Clubhouse, there's the round ring around someone's face. It's tan, but it goes off. And then in Twitter space, it is, I think it's purple. So there's a purple emanating buzz that lets you know that the person is speaking. So those are the similarities of the apps. So next we're going to talk about the differentiators, and specifically we're going to talk about things that Green Room has that Clubhouse doesn't have. And just for purposes of simplicity, we're just going to stick with Green Room versus Clubhouse versus bringing in Twitter Spaces, just to make this a little bit more simpler. So, you ready for that? Let's go. Okay, it's time to talk about the things that Green Room has that Clubhouse doesn't have as of yet. And what makes it exciting, which makes it more of a true competitor to Clubhouse compared to Twitter Spaces. So these distinctions that Green Room has that Clubhouse does not have are really exciting. The first one is that you can actually add a link to your bio. Now, that's great. Normally, apps are moving away from allowing people to link out because they want you to stay on app longer. However, if you're trying to share something with someone or want to explain something that's kind of like they can just go off and go see it and then come back, especially if you're in the process of doing something that's great. Also, if you just want to share your bio and share your links in terms of if you're using the app for business purposes and you want people to be able to go to your site and purchase things, that's wonderful. Since I've been on Green Room only this weekend, I've been on a couple of stages. I've been the gem collecting rooms, which I think are fun rooms. I don't mind staying on stage, giving people gems, listening to music, getting gems back. What's the big deal? But later on that, it's kind of like, yeah. Anyway, so the big differentiator is the link in the bio, and you can add more than one link. You get the bio space. If you want to add links in throughout your entire bio, you can do that as well and just have different places. I don't think strategically that's a great idea because you're going to confuse your audience. You should have people go to one place. So my advice is to do one link, but that's still amazing. So that's one of the benefits I love about Green Room is that you can have links in the bio. Now, second thing that people are finding amazing is they have a back channel. There's a chat function. For the longest time, people have asked Clubhouse to have a chat function, and the founders, Paul and Rohan, were reluctant because they say it's audio only. We want people to focus only on the conversation that's going on audibly and not be distracted by the chat. However, moderators have said, however, we understand that. However, it's really important as moderators that we be able to have a back channel to communicate with one another. Who's bringing somebody on stage? Is that a troll that we should get rid of? Or who's going next? I do channel audits in my rooms, and so a lot of times we're doing a rapid fire functionality where the moderators on stage are actually picking all of the people who come on stage and giving them in-depth audits, and it's great to be able to access and be able to communicate with one another. So right now, we've done our own back channel through Slack, through Asana, through like Instagram DMs. So it'd be nice to have it on app, and it works for Green Room. So that's the second thing that's a differentiator that's very exciting. And also, owing to the links, you can actually also drop links in the chat. So if you're explaining something, you're like, oh, I have a video that I did, and so it's great for getting views on your video, potential new subscribers. Here's how to do it. And then you're not just telling that person who's asked on stage or who asked in the back channel. That's going to go, everyone inside the room could actually see that and potentially click off and go and see your video. So that's amazing. So I love that. That's the second thing that's the most amazing. The third, I'm back with a hat. Lost the battery there. This is kind of cute and chic. So continuing on, the third thing that I love is, so I mentioned the links and then the chat. And the third and final thing that I really love There's other things that's differentiated, but of the three top differentiators, the third is that you can actually record. And so if you choose to record, you should indicate so in the title, but it makes it easier. Once you toggle this button on, it would automatically record your room, and then Spotify/Greenroom would send you your link. So at this moment, I am in the process of using Otter AI to record my rooms in Clubhouse. And one of the things we're going to start making available in Clubhouse is room audio recording, but now I have to use a third-party app in order to do that. So with Spotify recording the rooms for me and sending me the link, that makes it easier. That's another thing that those of us in Clubhouse have asked Clubhouse to do. I know there's issues of privacy, there's issues of rooms where people are being vulnerable and sharing, triggering, when people talk about trauma and they don't necessarily want that out in the world to record it. So I understand that. But for rooms that I host, usually when we're just sharing information, there's a lot of benefit. Usually people are asking just benign questions about their YouTube channel, nothing really sacred for the most part. And so for those of us like me who do those types of rooms, being able to have it recorded and sent back to our audience is a major plus. It's kind of like all those three right there make it like worth it to navigate. And that's why you're seeing a big influx of people leaving and deciding they're going to set up shop over there unless Clubhouse, you listening? Add some of these functionalities.
I want to do that. Anyway, just saying.
So back to things that the Green Room has. So that was number 3. Fourth thing that Green Room has that Clubhouse does not have, besides that, is that they can link the YouTube channel. So with Clubhouse, people usually link their Twitter space, their Twitter, and their Instagram in the bio. Green Room, Spotify, and some people who are Spotify podcasters are also YouTubers, or they also publish their podcast on their YouTube channel. Spotify Green Room offers you 2 active links. It's like the Twitter and then also your YouTube. And a lot of YouTubers and Spotifyers are more active on Twitter than they are on Instagram. So it makes sense. It's a platform for people who are more Twitter files. Is that the word? Anyway, if not, I made it up. Anyway, so that's the 4th thing. The 5th thing is that you don't need an invite. That's a big thing. It's like with the other apps, well, not Twitter Spaces. Well, technically, with Clubhouse, you still, even though it's still in beta, even though it's opened up to Android, even though it's expanded to many more countries, it's still invite only for the most part. So you need to have an actual invite to join. Whereas when Green Room opened up, all you need to do is download the app. Voila, create an account and you're in. So that's a differentiator that's pretty big. The 6th thing is that it automatically opened up Android and iOS, whereas the other ones, with Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, they were both available for iOS, and then they added Android later on. But on Jump Street, because probably because Spotify acquired an existing app that had already gone through all of the processes of testing and things like that with Android and iOS, that they bought something that was already customizable out of the box, and so you didn't have that lag and delay and resentment from the Android community that they couldn't join. So that's another thing that they had. The other thing too, on day 1, it was open to the world. I joined and there were rooms in all languages. There was rooms in Arabic. There was rooms in Korean. There was I saw some Japanese. I saw some Chinese writing. I saw folks Persian. The lots of communities on day 1 just came on and joined. Whereas the other apps, they gradually opened it up because they had scarce resources. So that's one of the reasons. The other difference is that, which is not necessarily good, this difference is not necessarily good, is that for the stages, Spotify Green Room is in alphabetical order. So what you're seeing now is people gaming the system or trying to hack it so they can be on the top of the, they can be at top of the room. They're adding their name and they're adding an A dash, whatever the name is, or A dash AAA. So they can appear in the beginning of the room. If Greenwood, Spotify will eventually just change that because Clubhouse culture and just make it so that it's in order that you join the stage, then that's going to go away and people probably will put their regular names after that. But for the most part, they're gaming the system by putting A. And some folks are annoyed by that. I really don't care. If you want to put A in front of your name and change it, that's your business. I don't understand why people are upset about people's choices. And if they want to go to the top artificially, I don't care. Do you? So anyway, so that's the thing, is alphabetic order. Another thing that's distinct from Clubhouse and Green Room, though Twitter Spaces has this, is time on the room has been existing. So there is at the top, you'll see the room. There's a countdown clock that shows the room, how long it's been going on, which is great. If you join it late and the converse, you'll know that the conversation is winding down. I host sometimes a 15-minute room or a 20-minute room or a 30-minute room or a 1-hour room, and we'll say so in the title. This is a 1-hour room. So if you join 30 minutes in and the title says 1 hour, you can look to the top and say, oh, okay, there's only 30 minutes left in this room, and then that will let you know, that it instructs you on whether or not you should raise your hand and get on stage fast, or whether or not you have time, or whether it's going to fit in your schedule. It's just good to know. On Twitter Spaces, you can also hit a button and figure out the time that the room has been on. That's not a functionality right now for Clubhouse, and that should be something easy to add. And I wish they would, because it's really simple and it has beneficial purposes if they did that. Another differentiator is that they have verified profiles. So there's no verified profiles on Clubhouse, and there's with Twitter Spaces, if you already verified previously, your verified profile still works. Whereas same thing with Spotify Green Room. When it launched as Green Room, because it had taken over an existing app, there were people from the locker room world that had already got verified. Folks who were celebrities, people who were big players, people who were hosting large rooms, who are already known, they got verified. So some people were asking, like, how do I get verified? Someone said that in another room that there was a process, they had to get interviewed. It was not really easy, but you have to already establish the presence. So folks who want to just come on and be like, I want to be verified because I had a presence on Clubhouse, or I have a presence, or I'm somebody on the outside world, I want to be verified. That's not how it works. So again, I don't care. If you're mad or you're mad or you don't mad, it's, it is what it is. If you want to get one, good luck to you. I hope you get one. It's no skin off my back whether people get it or not. I don't understand why people are upset about folks mining gyms, getting verified, not all the infighting, the stages. It just seems childish and just, I don't know. I understand that people feel like they're being invaded by another community and another culture, but I think we can all coexist. Okay, the next thing is the audio quality is superior. I mean, it's really premium, and that's one of the things we noticed. For those folks who went on Twitter Spaces, one of the big differentiators between Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse was the audio quality was amazing. Similarly, it's Spotify. So what do you expect? So if they didn't have good audio, I would be worried. It's a musical app, so that the minimum they should do is make sure it has great audio quality. And they're on different wavelengths. So I've been on Green Room and inside a Clubhouse room at the same time. And whatever protocol is on Green Room is such that I have been on a phone call and been in a Green Room at the same time. I've been on TikTok, watching a TikTok or Instagram Reels while Green Room was going on. So whatever protocol that Green Room is, it's able to coexist with the others. They say that the Green Room suppresses the other sound quality, but that's not necessarily true, because I've been in a Clubhouse app and then had a Green Room in the background, and Green Room is really low. So for the most part, they're on two different protocols on your phone, so they can coexist. So that's good, because sometimes you just need to have a presence on a stage, another app, even though you're not actively participating, and you can also listen to another one or do something else. Sometimes you just need to multitask on your phone. So I think that's great that you can do that. Another differentiator is the gyms. They have the gym. That's the big differentiator, and this is the gyms. So the way the gyms works is that I like the idea of gyms, because to me, I feel like one of the benefits of Clubhouse anyway is that when you were able, for me personally, I didn't really have a large presence in my industry, printers marketing on the outside, or on YouTube, because I'm a rising YouTuber, but I was able to come on Clubhouse, find a community, establish myself as an expert pretty quickly, from just being knowledgeable, studying the platform, sharing what I've learned with other people, gathering other people from my niche in Pinterest marketing on YouTube, creating clubs and community and building a community and growing organically on Clubhouse, and having an expertise that I didn't have prior to Clubhouse. That's what I loved about it. However, if someone on day one, if no one or someone joined and they were just looking at me from the outside and said, well, on the outside she doesn't have a presence, or on the outside she wasn't a great big Pinterest marketer before, or she has not a large YouTube subscriber base, Now, so what gives her value? What says that she's credible? Having a bunch of gems or having other people come forward to validate, give me some sort of social proof or social currency to someone who comes to my room for the first time. Like, yeah, this person has some value. So we're going to, we appreciate that. So that is one thing that's great. About the social currency, the aspect of gems or what it could be. And I think that was the initial intent, is that if someone says something insightful or they're really, amazing.
I need my trunks. Sorry. Just cut this out. Oh,
You're not taking that?
Oh, wait a minute. What time is it?
It's 5:40.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
He has to work too.
I thought, okay. I thought you were taking them. Anyway, so the fact that you can get the gems, it has ideas for social proof. So that social proof aspect is really good, and I appreciate that. Now, what I don't appreciate is, and then also, so what's happened is it kind of got devalued because people came in and they just did rooms and they're just collecting gems. And so some people are just sitting there not saying anything and collecting gems. It's annoyed the original locker room people because some of them didn't have gems or some of them took months to get gems. And you have all these people who have 10,000 gems for just coming on the app from day one just because we're gem farming or gem harvesting or gem mining because it's a gamification aspect of it. Now, if you think Spotify is going to take away the gems, as a punishment to people who've been gem mining, you got to be losing your mind because that's the benefit. That's what's keeping people on. That's how they are surpassing Facebook and Clubhouse and essentially leapfrogging them in terms of time on app, which is a metric that's really important for social media platform. People are staying in that app to get the gems. And so there's no way Spotify is going to get rid of the gems at all. If you think they are, you're mistaken. Anyway, I think at some point it's gonna the interest is gonna wane. There may be ways they may clamp down on the rooms, and so you have to actually add in value. They may have buzzwords. If someone says "gym me up," whatever, they may take them away. Eventually, at some point, it may die down. I think we'd all coexist. When I joined Clubhouse in the fall, there were rooms that I didn't care for. There were communities I didn't care for. I found my niche, and we all coexist. I think we can coexist in Green Room as well. So those are the things that they have that doesn't. So I'm going to continue this later on. It's going to be a little bit darker because I have to go take my kids swimming and talk about the things that Clubhouse has that Green Room doesn't have. Stay tuned. This video is getting much like the last video I did comparing Twitter Spaces to Clubhouse. In that video, which had a worse video quality, I admit, the sun went down on me because there was a super long video and I had to record it in parts. So similarly, this video is going the same route because I'm in my third outfit, or not really the third outfit, but I went to take my kids to swimming. I'm back. I'm almost done. Hang in there. And by the way, if you've gotten this far, if you like this video, I'd like to invite you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Join the J Squad, which is what I call my community of folks who come to me every week to learn about Pinterest marketing, social media marketing, and the latest news. I keep up with the social media platforms so you don't have to. And so if you're interested and you love the idea of having one-stop source, a place where you can go get information and get updates and see what's new, and so you can feel updated and feel like you're keeping up with Pinterest and you're keeping up with social media platforms, you want to hit that subscription button. I am been growing this for a year. It took me a long time to get 1,000 subscribers, and I am up to, I believe, 1,800, and it's taken me like equally long time. Normally, after you get your first 1,000, you start growing, but people aren't subscribing to my channel, so I'm just like, they're finding it, they're reading the video, but they're not subscribing. So I'm not begging you, but I would love you if you could subscribe, and you won't subscribe unless you watch the video and I don't ask you to. So you have this visual thing telling you subscribe, and now you have me inviting you to subscribe. It costs nothing to you. So I'll get you more recaps like this. Anyway, so let's wrap this up, shall we? Let's wrap it up. Okay. All right. So last thing of the things that Green Room has, and I just got an alert for Green Room. Speaking of Green Room, that's what you heard that bleep. That was an alert to join someone's room. So,
or is it a vibing lounge?
Okay, this is very cool.
Okay, we're talking. So anyway, yes, so the last thing that Green Room has that Clubhouse and the other ones don't have is the ability to change up the title of your room once you schedule it. I'm not quite sure if that's a functionality of Twitter Spaces. It was definitely on Clubhouse. You pick wisely, select your words, your emojis, whatever you use, your clickbait, you're going to use to get people in your rooms, because once it's set, you can't change it. There have been times where we've been in rooms for a long time, and after a while, the topic, the focus of the room shifts, but you're stuck with it. So people come in the room expecting it to be one thing, but since the room has evolved and turned into something different, and then they don't learn that until they get in, they listen around and, they say, okay, we're talking about something different. So I like the fact that in Green Room, you can actually go and change the room as it is in progress. So if the room is you having a marathon room, or you start off talking about one thing and at some point you realize something amazing happened in the world and you want to shift and talk about that amazing thing, you can do that. So that's the last and final thing that Green Room has, the Clubhouse doesn't have. I'm sure everyone's going to be calling it Greenhouse. Anyone who's doing these videos is going to be making this mistake. Don't have. Okay, so that's it. So now I'm just talk about quickly the things that Clubhouse has. The things that Clubhouse has that Green Room doesn't have. The first thing is, I would say, clubs. So you can, I was told, petition or ask them to get you a club if you want to. So until that happens, if you open up a room, you are limited to have that room be hosted by several different groups. It's open to the public. If you create a club and someone tries to create it, you make your club open to be to have rooms by anyone who's a member of the club. It's not open to the public. It's only open to members. Only the administrators can go in and lock it and make it available to the public. However, in Green Room, once you want to host a room, you just select one of the groups that you follow, and it's available openly to the public. However, I do like the idea of having everyone being able to access and open up niche-related clubs, because you build your community inside, and people are going to come to the app searching for their community, searching for their tribe, searching for where they fit in, and it's better if they have their own club and they're not limited to just sports-related club and a few other random ones that were created under the locker room. So the minute they open it up and make it available for other people easily, not necessarily through this, weird, not weird, but back channel, not really told, not publicized means of emailing the founders and asking for one, then I think it's going to really be a better place for community. Until then, it's just free for all. It's like the Wild Wild West. The second thing that Clubhouse has that the Green Room doesn't have is longer bio. I really like the long bio space, not because I'm wordy and verbose, but I like the idea of being able to sell and petition and talk about all your different things you have. You can change it out. I haven't changed mine in a while, but you have more room to present your story, to tell your story if someone's interested in following you, or if they're in your room and they want to know a little bit more about you and you're busy managing the room, or if you're just busy speaking in the room, or you're busy engaging with folks, you can tell more of your story and find people who jive with you and connect faster if you have a longer space with the bios. I do like that about Clubhouse. The third thing that Clubhouse has that Green Room doesn't have is a calendar system that includes clubs that you have scheduled out. I mentioned earlier that you can create a live room in an existing group, but you cannot schedule out a room in advance and have that be in your calendar. So with Clubhouse, I can create an event that's going to be tomorrow, or is going to take place on Friday. And when I hit my events, I can see it. That event is on the calendar. It's on the whole calendar. So I have access to all the events that's going on amongst people I follow, amongst clubs I follow, amongst my own events in one calendar system. I think Twitter Spaces has something similar, but it may not be that developed well. Anyway, so Green Room does have a calendar system, but it is really just limited to those clubs, those groups that I mentioned. So it's not really a robust, inclusive calendaring system yet. So like the one that Clubhouse has. The final thing that Clubhouse has, you've seen there's a mismatch, but this one is big. So even though Green Room does have a lot of functionalities that we love and I'm excited about, what still sort of gives Clubhouse a little bit of a leg up is that I've grown a community in Clubhouse, and it took me a long time to grow the community in Clubhouse, and it continues to grow. I have house rooms in there all week. I developed some partnerships based on Clubhouse, and I still think it's a robust platform. It ebbs and flows, all different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all Snapchat, all platforms have a period of lull when it's like seems like they're hemorrhaging membership or they're seen as called dead, but they're not really, and they resurfaced. I think Clubhouse in its 1 year existence has already had several different renaissances and rebirths, and I think it can be reborn again. One thing I think it can help reborn it, make it come alive again, is if it adopts some of the things that we've already saw a sneak peek where they kind of released accidentally on purpose. The fact that they're going to have a back channel, I think that's a game changer if they do that. I think if they even if they don't have bios and the link, if they have some easy ability for you to record and give you access to your recording functions, I think that'd be great. During the town hall last week, Sunday, the founders said there's going to be the next update, not this one when they have a new icon. It's just a black woman with braids. Check out JJ Braids. I have a whole braiding blog. The next major update they're going to do is going to have a lot of new functionalities. So I'm hoping that some of the functionalities you've been asking for, some functionalities that Greenroom has that rivals them. And yeah, so anyway, so that's it. So, and hope you enjoyed that. That's the breakdown of how to get into Greenroom, the similarities of Greenroom to Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, the relevancy of Facebook or not, in terms of the fact that they're not really a player in this game, considering they're limiting their app to just big guys and not really making it available for regular folks to open up rooms. And then also you have the benefits of Greenroom over the other ones and the benefits of Clubhouse over Greenroom. And yeah, so I think that's it. I think that's the rundown. So if you have any questions, you want to discuss it, let's talk about it below. I wanted to get this comparative video out because I did the other one pretty early and that did pretty well for my channel anyway. And yeah, I wanted to be comprehensive because other people I saw throw up some videos, but just to show you how to do it, but not with this sort of deep analysis as the differences and the similarities of the two and how they compare. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, again, hit me a like, hit me a follow, subscribe, hit me a like, share this video with someone you think might be interested in it. You can also share clips to it. You can do lots of different things. And then join the J Squad. We'd love to have you. There's lots of room. Anyway, that's it. All right, take care. In the meantime, I'll see you in my next video. Cue my outro music. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom.